Well, hey everybody, if you're joining or catching this later. Just spinning some mycelium up. If you care to stand by, watch, hang out, talk, ask questions, feel free. If this just gets uploaded to YouTube and no one sees it, well, so be it. See if we can get this set up with a little bit of light in the background so you can kind of catch the mycelium in frame. So this is our lion's mane. Let's see if I can get in a little closer here. Turn it to the side. Yeah, you can see the mycelium. It's almost starting to form a mat there. If I can get a little bit. That's not bad. See it a little bit in there hanging out at the top. I wish I could get a little bit better angle, but it's actually getting kind of dense up there. Give it a spin, see how she turns up. See if I can get nicely angled for you guys. There we are. It's actually, you can even see there's some mycelium kind of hanging on to the stir rod in there. We'll get this ramped up and give it about a minute or so and see if see how dense it is once the water column stops moving. I think this one probably has, maybe another week before it's ready to start producing syringes that are, well colonized. There's actually, and I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can kind of see it back on this side. The mycelium is starting to hang there on the side of the jar, and that's what's part of what's allowing that mat to form. But yeah, this lion's mane was this liquid culture was inoculated on 8/22, and it's been doing well so far. I was a little concerned with the liquid culture, to be honest. It's darker than I usually go for. I know it's a little, the white balance on this camera and with the ring light right there doesn't really allude to it wholly, but it is a hair darker than I'd usually want to get it. I don't think I caramelized the sugars too much. But if I don't see, and probably, like I said, with all this growth on the side, it should be fine. But if in a week or so I don't see something a little bit more productive, I might just, I still have the syringes that everything came out of, so I might just run another batch of liquid culture, see if it produces differently over the course of the same time frame. And if we see any big changes, I might just take this stuff, let it get as thick as it seems to want to, and then just toss it into like a grain spawn or something, because if the sugars are cooked, it's not going to go so well for it. Probably should have kept a timer on this. Stop it on the stream clock at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Let it calm down and see what it looks like inside. Bring it a little closer to the camera to see if you can see the mass floating around. There we go. That's a pretty good shot. Yeah, you can see all the little individual pieces of mycelium floating around in there as it goes through the liquid culture and starts pulling in the sugars. But yeah, it's a pretty nice. I'm going to see if I can't find a better way to get these camera angles done so that you can actually see what we're doing. So this is a Miyataki. This one, it's hard for me to see. Actually, the water is a little cloudy. Oh, I'm too close, huh? You can see the mycelium there in the center. Almost looks like a little piece of napkin floating in there. The water's still a little cloudy, which is what part of my concern was with the oh, sorry, kind of a bad angle there. See if I can get that there it is. Just kind of see it there. It's unfortunate. It's not nearly as pronounced as the lion's mane. We'll give that a spin, see if you can't. You can almost catch the shadow of it right there. We'll spin this thing up, give it a minute or two to break up in there, and well, I was a bit too aggressive with my stir rod. But yeah, this one as well was inoculated on the 22nd of this month. We're still in August, right? I assume we're as much. If we're still in August, then yeah, this is just, I guess we're on maybe the 30th or 29th of August today. Just about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks old. Like I said, the lion's mane was so dense in there that I was really impressed with it, but the oysters have not been doing well. I might need to give them a cold shock or something, because they're producing when I get to those samples here in a minute, you'll be able to see them quite well, but it's not dense. It's almost like a kind of a lighter fluffy cotton it's just not very dense. But again, it's, they're only about a week or so old, and I may have gone a little over on the cook in the pressure cookers. And hopefully that won't happen next time, because we did get one of our backers came through, and hopefully, I think it might actually be here this week, but we ordered a 125 quart sterilizer unit, and it's electronically controlled, so I won't have to play the game of balancing the burners on the range with the pressure cookers and everything. It just set it and forget it. Hopefully, I've got a place set up in the lab for it, ready to receive when it gets in. But Midwest just sent me the shipping confirmation on that. Or is that just too blown out? Let's see. Yeah, you can try to find the light. There we go. That's a little bit. Yeah, see, it's not very dense. You can see the mycelium floating around in there, but it's still pretty wispy, kind of thin. And unfortunately, the camera's just not doing it justice. The lab camera gets a lot better. And then we've got the microscope, so you can really get in there. Let's take the Miyataki to the side. This is the blue oyster. See if we can get that in range. You can actually see the mycelium hanging there in the center, that kind of ghosty bit right there. There's actually quite a bit on the bottom too. If I bring this around, you can kind of see it as it hides in there. And it's not bad actually for what I was giving it earlier today. See if we get something that you guys can see. Lord, you'd think I'd have a nice angle for all these, but it's almost like every canister is slightly different. Well, how about this? I'm going to get it spinning, and then I'll find a. Well, I'm going to leave this here turning for a second. Be back in just a moment. My dog barks, so that probably means that Amazon is here. And if Amazon is here, we can just do a box opening stream, because it's all crap for the company. So, while I know this hasn't been exactly riveting footage, excuse me, there we are, hi. I know this hasn't been riveting footage, but that was Amazon. They did deliver a bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna have to guess it's probably plates. There's a handful of other things we're waiting on to come in right now, but we can go from a spin mycelium into a unboxing stream of, so there you go. This is going to be a pink oyster. You can get that in there. Yeah, there she is. She's hiding in there. One of these days I'm going to find an angle that works. And yeah, you can just kind of, maybe if I do this. How about that? Maybe turn the light down. Yeah, this one, it's really not coming through on camera very well, and my silly ass can't find a way to get lighting. But there's quite a bit more mycelium floating at the top than what you're seeing there just over here. And there is a non-insignificant amount on the bottom. Again, though, this the oysters this round have been problematic. Not that they usually... they're not that bad, but I've seen better, for sure. But we'll get this one going. I'll go get some more boxes. I'll leave you with the wonders of watching mycelium spin around. And I don't know if you can really see much in that angle, but yeah, you can see the little discolorations that go by from time to time. It's the thicker bunches. Some of that is mixed in with air bubbles, but if I slow it, you might be able to actually... yeah, there you go. All that white fluffy. That's a, it's, I would say that at this point, this jar is maybe about 25% colonized. It just, it's really light mycelium. I'm kind of surprised at that. But hold that thought, or really hold whatever you want. I don't give a damn what you do. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get my other boxes, and we can do an unboxing stream. We got about 3 more cultures to spin, another oyster, a piapino, and a trumpet. I'll come back to the lion's mane maybe, because that's one of the better looking ones right now. Actually, the KT, the King Trumpet's not ugly either. But we'll get some boxes and be right back. Did I miss anything? Did anything interesting happen? I don't think so. Yeah, it's got a nice... Let's see if we can get a little bit more light in that. There you go. If I can remember what I'm doing right now, that works pretty well. Pretty dense, not bad. Alright, and this is going to be, let's see, let's do the golden oyster first. Well, get you a good view. Yeah, you can see all the mycelium hanging out there, down there at the bottom. It's actually really pretty well colonized. There we go. Alright, well, let's give this one a spin. I've got, I think, 2 more packages downstairs. 1 more trip though, so we'll let this guy run for a second. I'll be back, and we can go from there. Alright, that was the last of going to pick up packages. Probably enough time for this guy today. Yeah, it's looking nice. So let's go with the King Trumpet. This one's annoying because the stir bar is actually a larger size. You can get a really nice look at that one. All right. Sorry, that one takes a little bit of focus. It's the stir rod's a fine size. It's just the bottom of this jar is a bit convex, And so balancing is, or centering is really key with this. Otherwise, it just sends itself. A second, see what came in the mail today. All right. What do we get? Aha, some agar. Well, for those that know, you know. We're be putting together, obviously, some agar for ourselves, just to do some plates. I wanted to do a couple pours. I've had a request for a few King Trumpet and Lion's Mane plates that people were looking to either do. I think they wanted to do a liquid culture, or they just wanted to look at it. I'm not really sure, but there was a couple different like basic request plates, a couple MEA plate requests, and there was like one or two that I don't think I will be able to fulfill. I've actually got to look into it because it was a request off of a sheep's blood, and I'm sure I can access it, but I don't think I have the wherewithal to legally produce that. So what else did we get? Oh, yeah, dry malt extract. Nothing really special. You know, if you know making liquid culture, you understand why we need it. I think that's what everything is. I might have just contaminated a plate. Oh well. Is that cracked? That's just a bad pour. That's just a bad pour. Alright. We've probably given King Trumpet enough time. See what it looks like in the water column. Pretty healthy. Pretty healthy. Alright. And last one, Pia Pino. We have everything from floating to sinking. It's all in the middle. I think this one's going to, if we're not careful, this one's going to have a mat on the top of it soon. Alright, let's get it back in frame. Push that up as far as we can take it, and it's going. We'll let that run for a bit, check out the rest of our shipments from today. Holy shit. Whatever this is big. Alright, well, come with me because it's not very interesting if you don't see what's going on here. What do we got? A box with a box. I'm gonna have to set this down real quickly. I'm gonna give you back to the mycelium real fast. See what we got here. Yeah. Okay. Well, we have 1,000 Petri dishes. Yep. Okay. So that was part of the order for a Petri dish request. So we got in 1,000 dishes. The order was for $750. So we'll get to work pouring those soon. I'm going to try and do a video of that. I'm much more interested in being live over on YouTube, but the account does not have the support necessary to pull that off just yet. So we'll be doing live over here, uploading that to YouTube, and probably still doing shorts over on YouTube, obviously. But I'm going to have to leverage Twitch until I can get enough following on the YouTube account to start going or stay going live over there. That I had intentions to do a spore agar transfer today, but I looked at the needles were just bad. I think I might have been able to see like one or 2 spores in the needles. They're a little older. I've been using them for over a year, maybe 2 now, something. But they're not viable anymore, so gonna have to let that one slide at least. Tomorrow, I was gonna say I was gonna do some liquid culture just to start building up the back supply, but the reality is that bonsai sterilizer should be coming in by the end of the week, and that's gonna be a hell of a lot easier to use than going through and using the Prestos to do it, because those Prestos only get 7 of the wide mouths at a time. Running 2 on the stove at once, yeah, I can do 14, and like I think in a day I can, if I'm really trying to be on top of everything, you can do 12-ish runs a day for 2 of them, and it does build out a lot. But the bonsai is 125 quarts, and I think I can do 14 jars per run, so it's effectively doubled. And if I need bulk, I can go back to using the Prestos. That was the intention if another one of the big substrate orders comes in, because those are time consuming just because of the media mixing and getting the hydration balance correctly. But that's a whole nother investment thing to deal with. So we spun it, we cracked open some boxes. That was fun, I guess. Really nothing left to do. I might need to make a short on this for YouTube, but as far as the SBA SAM registration and everything, the SAM registration is 100% complete. We have our UEI and we have our cage code, so we're now open for government contracts. I'm still going through with the Small Business Administration. They have my documents, and just today I had to re-provide them with, I think, the certificate of formation, bylaws, things of that nature. And I think there was another document that they wanted from the state of Texas. But that was given back to them today, so hopefully, they've actually been very responsive. Most of the time, the Small Business Administration has been, I want to say 72 hours, give or take, business. So hopefully we'll see something there, because once that's done, that kind of sets us in the point of we'll have, Shroom Shrine will be a disabled veteran registered company. We'll be with SAM. There's a handful of other things we need to do after that. But the registration, like the ability to say we are who we are and these are things we're claiming, that'll be true, and we'll be able to move forward with a couple other funding requests and things of that nature. But until the next time, have a great day. Take care.